Welcome to Seaway Whiskywire. Tonight at the bar we've got the Jura 10-year-old Single Malt Scotch Whisky. Stay tuned. Welcome to Seaway Whiskywire. I'm Tyler, and tonight at the bar we've got the Jura 10-year-old Single Malt Scotch Whisky coming in from the Isle of Jura in the island region of Scotland. Where's the Isle of Jura, you ask yourself? Well, it's just to the north of the island of Islay, which is where you find all your peaty whiskies like your Kilhomans, your Ardbegs, your Lafroigs, Lagavulins, and all those guys. 10-year-old expression tonight on the bar. They come in with a 10-year-old expression in their core range, along with a 12-year-old, an 18, and I believe a 21. And then they have an unaged statement called the 7 Wood. I personally have tried the 10, the 12, and the 18, and got different things to say about each one of them. Talk about the specs on the Jura 10-year-old. So it's ex-bourbon, matured and finished in ex-sherry casks. Comes in at 40% ABV, which means it's likely chill filtered and there's likely color added. And I can tell you, just in my experience, if you lined up the 10, 12, and 15 right in a row, the 18 is going to be a little darker, but there's not much difference between the 10, 12, and so there is more than likely color added. It comes in with those specs. They are lackluster specs, I'm not going to lie to you, but it's still a fairly good whiskey to kind of get into. We'll get into the presentation of the bottle. So it's a different looking bottle. It's got these nice arches to it, very thin to it. And basically what they've said in the marketing material is that that's for integrity of the bottle. Going back and forth, being on an island, they have to kind of contest with the sea and all that goes with it. So they've said that this is the purpose for those arches in the bottle. Not a lot of information on the bottle. It does tell you that it's matured in ex-bourbon and finished in sherry casks, Amoroso sherry casks, likely first fill, just based on the coloring, although it is color added. But there's some flavors in there, and I'll get into those in a little bit. The packaging here is quite nice to have on your bar. It's got a lot of marketing material on it and pretty much the same information on the bottle. Let's get into a pour. Beautiful cork pop on this bottle of Jura, which my buddy Jake and I have been enjoying now for a couple of months. So color-wise, it's kind of a darker orangey amber hue to it. Again, color added to it. It's not as red as as like an Abalor or anything like that, but it does nice color to it. All right, let's get into the nose. See what it can bring us. And again, I'm gotta get better at this. If you have a bottle of something from the islands or a Jura or something you want to pour yourself a dram and drink along, I strongly encourage it. I really got to get better at getting these in earlier on in the video. But anyways, pour yourself a dram and follow along. And onto the nose. So first off, it's very sweet. You get those honey notes, green apple, pear. With some caramel in there, vanilla, and a little bit of peat on the back end. Like I said, they do use peat in their process. They don't tell us how much, but it's there. It's very light, and it's more of a medicinal peat note, more like a Lafroig, not that campfire, bonfire-esque smoke that you tend to get. It's more of that medicinal, iodide Band-Aid style of peat. Very, very light though, I will say that. Yeah, no real spiciness to it. It's very, very smooth, and I mean that probably kind of goes into the piece with the 40 ABV, and that little bit of sweetness at the front end is really kind of why I believe it's first fill sherry casks. But I might stand corrected. If you know better, comment down below. Let me know if you have any information that I wasn't able to get to. All right, let's get on to the taste and see what we can find out about it. Slàinte. So it's very sweet off the start. You get those dark raisins, dark fruit, sherry notes to it. And again, I think that's because of the first fill sherry. You do get those apples and pears, caramel. You get that peat, just a little bit of it. Yeah, it's on the back, and it's very, I shouldn't say very, it's not very strong, but it is very apparent that it's that medicinal style of peat. Yeah. And now it's gone. And now it's kind of tallied out there. Going for one more sip here just to make sure I got everything that I wanted to cover. Yeah, so very much the same. You get that smoke on the back end is not too crazy. Yeah, apples, pears, honey, caramel, the sherry influence there for like the raisins and kind of dates, but not really. There's no real spice to it. Yeah, it's pretty much it. We'll get on to the finish. So right away I can share with you, and I had another sip there just to kind of confirm what I already knew. It's a very short finish. It's very short. It's not very complex. It's very easy sipping. There's no challenge to it. It's not a spice bomb. It's not a peat bomb. It's not a sherry bomb. It's just kind of there. I think if someone asked me, a good beginner whiskey that wasn't going to break the bank, wasn't going to make you too afraid to get into more smoky whiskeys, not an introduction to smoky peated whiskeys, but just to kind of tiptoe into that smoky whiskey territory, I think this would be a good spot to go. But yeah, it's very short. It's not very mouth filling. The liquid's very thin, and yeah, and I think that's part of the 40 ABV holding it back. I should note that as you do go up in the core range, it does go up a little bit. I believe the 18 are both at 43%. As you tiptoe into those areas of age, you do get more complexity, you get more full flavors, you get more spice and oomph to it. But this is just this is a good entry level, and it's not going to scare any of your friends away if you wanted to offer this to them, either at your bar or as a starting point. Value proposition wise, very reasonable whiskey. I believe this is $62 at the LCBO. It's a very, very affordable, available, and approachable whiskey. You can go out and get it right now. I'm sure it's on the shelf somewhere in your province or your area. It's a pretty common whiskey. Again, it's like their entry point for Jura. Would I recommend it based on the price and what you get out of it? I probably should say, if you want to, I would strongly suggest you try this whiskey. I'm not sure we're going to be returning to it. Definitely not going to stock it. We'll take our money and kind of push that elsewhere into some other different brands to try out. But I am glad that we tried the Jura 10 and kind of got into that gateway. I would really recommend, if you are going to try something Jura, I would probably go even into the 12-year-old to begin, and just kind of move past the 10. It's just I hate to say the word. It's very meh. it's just very plain, in my opinion. Even to be a beginner, you're going to give them this, then you're going to give them something else, and I believe they would probably get bored with this. There's a reason this bottle's been kind of hanging around for the last few months, and against other things, we've kind of moved on from it. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it there. So I would say, I'd recommend that you try this whiskey, or try it. The 12-year-old I would recommend, and I would pass on the 10. Maybe I got it wrong. Please comment below. Let me know what you think. Maybe you've had a different experience with the 10. I'd love to hear from you guys. And if you like what we're doing at Seaway Whiskey Wire, please like and subscribe down below. We'd love to hear from you. Love the subscriptions, and we'll keep bringing you more content along the way here, more whiskey reviews. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. Cheers, and we'll see you around.